Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to the home of original sports perspective. From our couch to yours. This is the Couch Rider Report podcast, and I'm your host, Jermaine Lockett, and I can say, hey, thank you for coming back, kicking it on the couch with me as we talk that original sports perspective from our couch to yours. But do me a favor, tell a friend, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell. Just make sure you get this message out because I'm telling you, I'm bringing original stuff that people ain't got on there. And I need them subscribers, folks. I got people on YouTube, or at least I'm seeing people on YouTube threatening to run people over with a truck, literally threatening to run people over with the truck to get subscribers. I don't need to get to that point. I hope I don't never have to threaten y'all to get some subscribers, but I do want to get the subscribers up to make sure we get this YouTube family thing rocking. The reason I have called you all here today is because Pat McCarry, he hurt us. He cut me deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm still salty. We should be in the AFC Championship, or at least should have been this past year, if it wasn't for his errant snaps. And he had about 5 errant snaps that game to Lamar Jackson, and one went over his head and caused a concussion, which pretty much cost us the game. Yes, there was a pick six by Lamar, but McCarry definitely knocked him out of the game with that errant snap. Yes, people make mistakes, but while we're here, it's because it's time to move forward from Pat McCarry and get us a new offensive line. To be honest with you, it's time. Look, you heard us once. I'm not gonna let you hurt us again. I'm going after offensive linemen. If I'm Eric DeCosta, which I'm not, but I'm just saying, if I had an opportunity to chase down an offensive lineman that's going to help us, a center, because the first thing I want to ask you when you get into the room is, can you handle situations under pressure? Can you snap the ball effectively to my quarterback? Can you be a ghost in the game? Because I don't want to hear about you, because if I do hear about you, more likely it's because you did something bad, like allowing a snap, of snapping the ball over my quarterback's head or something along those lines. I want y'all to understand that offensive linemen are more important than whatever y'all thoughts are on Sammy Watkins right now, because we got 75% of Ravens Nation that is all salty, all bitter, and then you got 25% of Ravens Nation that are they're like, hey, they're kind of trying to be optimistic. I'm optimistic. I think Sammy's going to do just fine. Y'all were whining about not getting a wide receiver before, and now when we get one, y'all want to be all salty. Well, guess what? We got one, and he's better than Miles Boykin right now. Like I said, I love Miles, but right now he's a step above Miles Boykin, and he does things in the playoffs that other players don't. He turns up in the playoffs, kind of like some quarterback we knew. Joe Flacco turned up in the playoffs. Anywho, so I want to talk about two offensive linemen that I want to focus on. I'll talk about a few of them. 2 offensive linemen I want to focus on, and I want to talk about the question from our subscriber. The one question from our subscriber. I gave y'all an opportunity. Flock Nation, y'all about 10,000 strong. Y'all couldn't ask one question? I'm just saying.
Shame.
I feel bad.
Shame.
No, I don't. Because y'all didn't help me out. But I still love you. Because you're here right now with me. It's cool. It's cool. Just come on back. Come see me sometime soon. Anyway. Let's move forward. So there's 4 guys total that I did some research on, that I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about when I came to y'all. Offensive lineman ain't really my thing, but hey, it is today. So, like I said, if y'all hadn't done it already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe, rock with your boy. Let's move forward. So there's the top 2 guys. I know you heard about this guy, Rashawn Slater, out of Northwestern. The guy who beat up Chase Young when he was in Ohio State. He actually completely canceled him out. There's plenty of tape out there showing him canceling his game out. But at 6'3", he's not going to be able to do that at this next level, because there's going to be plenty of defensive ends and outside linebackers ready to eat his lunch. And you can't sit there and rely on a 6'3" tackle to handle business for you. I'm sorry, you got to have size. Size matters. So he's going to possibly move into the inside, but it's not an easy transition. It's not going to be as easy as everybody thinks to go from tackle to guard. Now, guard to center, yes, it's a decent transition. The only thing is, you're trying to make sure you're concentrating on the ball being snapped and being snapped properly. McCarry.
Darn you, McCarry!
Just saying. He has a couple of things that I like about him. Rashawn has when you're looking for tackles, there's a couple things you want to look for. You want to look for their discipline and smarts. You want to look for strength and power, speed and agility, and punch. If you can have all 5 of those within a player, because that intelligence is there and that power and agility is all wrapped in there, you're going to have a solid offensive lineman. Rashawn, he definitely embodies all of these characteristics. He uses his counter leverage techniques on defenders to lock them in. So it's just simply, you're pulling with this side and pushing with this one in order to get people's shoulders off. He has the ability to use that good hand strength. He has agility, good burst when he gets to the linebackers at the second level on runs. And he has a punch, some punch, but I'd like to see him dominate more in the run attack. And maybe y'all can show me some videos on it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to see him dominate a little bit more when it comes to the run game. I mean, there were times when he was beat by smaller players, like, I don't know, defensive backs, I think, came at him, and he still wasn't able to handle them the same way he would be able to handle a defensive end. Doesn't matter who's in front of you. If you are that tackle, you got to take them down. And he's going to be moving over to center of guard. The next guy, Landon Dickerson. I know y'all saw him at the Pro Bowl. You probably sitting there like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? Like, he should be an Avenger. He's so big. This is a big son. Gun 6'6", 308 out of Alabama. And the things I like about him is he has discipline. He's got the smarts. He's got some strength and power. But when it comes to the discipline and smarts, he's got a good IQ. I like his awareness. He recognizes stunts. They try to run some stunts on him where they switch the linebackers and switch the defensive ends and stunt the linebackers. He was able to pick it up. He was able to fan in and out based on how he blocked, and you could see him pick up the other guy. You see him in the corner of his eye. He would shut off one and work his way to the next. Very impressive skill set with this gentleman here. But the thing about him, the knock on this gentleman is injuries. Of course, with that big old frame, you got 308 pounds. It ain't necessarily all in. He ain't looking athletic in this joint. He looks like a bit of a blob. Excuse me. He looks like a bit of a blob. You got to be able to hold that up. And if you got 308 pounds sitting on bad knees and having a bad injury history, your stock might drop a little bit. You don't get that in control. Hopefully he gets a trainer or a good conditioning coach with the next team that he goes to in the NFL, and they can help him take care of that problem. He's got some punch. He knows how to finish defenders. And I think whatever team grabs this guy is going to definitely get some gold. Moving forward, the 2 that I wanted to talk to you about that you probably don't know much about, but they should pop up on your radar. Creed Humphrey is one. He comes out of Oklahoma University. This guy's a full-on anchor. I mean anchor. He is pretty much, his arms are fully extended, and he is going to make sure that defender, if they're trying to use a power move, that they are not getting any ground on him. What I like about him is he allows quarterbacks to establish their pocket. Quarterbacks should feel confidence after that ball is snapped, of course, being able to snap it properly, Makari. Be able to snap it properly and then be able to step up in the pocket. The quarterback should be able to do that with confidence, be able to deliver that ball down the field. You got Creed Humphrey sitting in front of you at 6'5", 312 pounds. I think you'll be able to do that just fine. And then when it comes to his punch, I don't know if y'all saw him at the Senior Bowl. At the Senior Bowl, I'm pretty sure he improved his draft stock because he flew on a grown man, a dude to the ground. It was beast. And we got the highlights in here, so I hope y'all get to take a look at that because that guy was just, that was a grown man right there. He said, hey, man, I'm grown. Finishes on blocks. I do want to see how he handles double teams. Sometimes you have those centers who just don't know how to respond to a double team. And if you got a nose tackle and a defensive tackle sitting in both of your gaps, you got to learn how to utilize your teammates and how to take on those double teams, be able to handle it with ease. You're probably going to have to figure out how to put your hand in the middle of the chest and half these defenders so you can take on those two. Like I said, just want to see how he takes on those double teams. Very impressed with the guy. Go watch the tape on him. Just everything I saw was pretty solid. Sometimes there was a couple of times where he kind of got lost in space on a few runs where you just didn't know exactly who to block. He was looking for assignments, and so he didn't get to that next level to get that out of the defender. There's very few times I saw that, but I did have to mention that I did see that. Next person this one is a sleeper, absolute sleeper, and I'll tell you how I found this one. So I usually do this. I do my own homework. I always look up the stats of who had the best rush attack in the league in 2020, and that was Iowa State. So, of course, I want to go take a look at the line just to see who was there and doing what. And I found a guy. His name is Colin Newell. This guy is about 304 pounds, 6'3". So, a pretty good size for a center. He was all Big 12, honorable mention. He led the line in the most productive rushing attack in team history. He had good choppy feet. He keeps defenders at length. He had some grown man in him, but he's not a full-on punisher, and you're not expected to be every lineman can't be a full-on Michael Oher. I'm talking about the movie Michael Oher, not necessarily Bottom Raven Michael Oher, because he just wasn't all that good. He allowed 48 sacks one year, not by himself, but the line did, and he was a big piece of what came through and hit Joe Flacco. This is a guy who likes to open up holes. He prides himself in what he can do on the ground. But what I did see is that as soon as he snaps the ball, and I'm not sure if this was taught technique or what, but he favors the right A-gap. The second he snaps the ball, his hands are out, and he is constantly blocking the right A-gap. And if I was a defensive line coach, I would go ahead and tell my guys, hey, get ready. You're going to go left when he goes right. And I'm talking about his left and not your left, because the next thing you know, you're on his right, and you're getting smacked around, whatever. But basically, that door would be wide open when he snaps the ball because he is instinctively simply snapping and immediately hitting that right gap. If he continues to do that, somebody's going to exploit him, and it's going to hurt his quarterback because he's going to have an open run lane straight to the QB. Just saying. But that is all I have for those guys as far as the offensive linemen. Now, we had questions from subscribers, or question from subscriber. All right, so the one subscriber who asked the question, hey, I appreciate you. Make sure you just go ahead and hit that like button. I don't know if you subscribed already, but hey, Jimmy D. His name is T Greasy on Twitter. Y'all make sure y'all give him a like on some of his posts. Go ahead and give him a follow. I appreciate him for coming through and asking the question. So he says, who would be your choice if left guard and center with the current roster? So with the current roster, I think, look, Bradley Bozeman, beast. He's a great pulling guard. Love him to death. Let's rock with him. And then I'd say the Colon Castillo. Colon Castillo, like, he stepped in for 2 games when Makari was injured, and honestly, nobody heard a word. So that means no news is good news when it comes to offensive linemen, because everything usually goes right. Now, when something goes wrong, they're going to come for your head. But I think he did his thing, and we survived as a team. So, look, thank you, Jimmy D. Appreciate you, bro. Okay, for all the rest of y'all, I asked some questions, come through. I'll give you a shout out on here. We're going to be part of the Couch family here, because that's what we do here. We bring that original sports perspective from our couch to yours. This is the Couch Rider Report podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we got more videos coming. I'm bringing it, folks. I'm trying to make sure that this thing, it goes live. And you can be part of the team. You can be on the podcast if you want to, but you got to be active. You got to come see me and tell your friends about me. All right, y'all take care. Have a great evening.